He is he's a perfect three technique, just like Maurice Hurst is. I think the Raiders saw someone who was really productive. Now he's been more productive than every other defensive tackle, but the competition probably wasn't that good. He came from a small school, but check out his numbers. Um, you know what we talked about? Bench press. Bench press. He benched 36 times. That's amazing.
Wow.
Broad jump was 116 inches. Vertical for a guy who's 6'1", 310 pounds is 38 inches. That is ridiculous.
Wow.
And he ran a 4.73 40-yard dash. That's defensive end numbers.
That's crazy, isn't it?
So what I think the Raiders saw, and his film is really good. Also, if he did that, what he did in a big program, he would have went top 15.
Yeah, easily.
So it's just the Raiders saw him. I think the Raiders worked him out. I don't know what they did, but the potential is massive for this guy. And also, we looked at PM playmaking index earlier when we took sacks and tackles for loss divided by games played. The highest was Harrison Phillips at 1.75 when we looked at everybody, but this guy was 2.08. So his numbers are off the charts. So second round pick, not popular. I like it. Third round pick, I don't see anybody who's liking that pick. But we'll see. They saw him as another athletic guy who they can develop. So he's not gonna play this year. Hopefully, Colton Miller slides over to the right side, and next year, if Donald Penn decides to retire, he'll move into the left side, and somebody else will take over the right side, whoever it is. We have Jalen Ware on the roster. We have a couple other guys, so we'll see what happens. But day 3, man.
Yeah, day 3 we absolutely smashed it, in my opinion. I mean, the name that really stood out to me was Marcel Aitman in the 7th. I mean, he's one of those guys he's 6'5", 216 pounds. He's a big-bodied, deep end zone threat. He's got the reach over most corners and safeties. I think if we can get him in and he can, just iron out some of his flaws, like the rest of the guys that we picked, he could be super productive and a good target for Derek, I think.
Yeah, and he was slated to go 5th round or something, so I think we got a good steal for him. And he's tall, too. He's really tall.
Yeah, I think he was slated to go in between the 4th and the 5th round. So to get him in the 7th is good value, really, isn't it? You look at some of the other guys who flew off the board, and you're thinking, wow, how did they go before? I mean, some of the undrafted free agents that weren't taken, that were slated to go 5th round.
That's nuts.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
What's that guy's name? Holton Hill. I think he went undrafted, and he was a 2nd or 3rd round guy. It's just his off-field issues that made him go. I think he failed a drug test 9 times in college. So when you do stupid shit like that, obviously you're not gonna get drafted. But he went to the Vikings. If he stays put, the Vikings could have a steal. Vikings did really good.
I'll tell you what, if I wasn't a Raiders fan, the biggest story of the draft is both the Griffin brothers going to Seattle.
Oh, that should be nice. I wanted him in the 5th round, but he was gone.
He was gone. Yeah. But to be honest with you, when that Maurice Hurst pick come in, I was absolutely ecstatic. Honestly, I think that's one of the best picks we've had in years.
He saved the draft with that pick, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Arden Key as well, though. That could be an absolute steal.
Yeah, Arden Key went in the 3rd, but to get someone like that who was rated higher than Arden Key and to get him on the 5th, that could be all-time steal, draft steal.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying, let's take Maurice Hurst at 10. So we took him, wasn't it the 10th pick in the 5th round or something?
I don't know, but he went 140 overall, Maurice Hurst, so...
Yeah, so I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, that is worth the risk. It's the risk worth taking, isn't it, in that round?
Another guy I like was Nick Nelson, round 4. Only reason he dropped, he's more of like a late 2, third round guy, really good cover corner. Nick Nelson went to, I forget which, he went to Wisconsin. If you look at Wisconsin versus Maryland game, he shut out DJ Moore the entire game. If you look at, go on YouTube and check it out. He shut out DJ Moore, and the only reason he's going late is because he's a little short, 5'10", and he has an injury. He had a knee injury. A lot of teams were scared about it. But right before the draft, the Raiders did their research and they found out that he doesn't need to have any operation on his knee. Yeah. He just needs to get this scoped out.
Yeah, he had a damaged meniscus, I think it was.
Yeah, so he doesn't have an operation. He just needs to get scoped out. He'll be ready by training camp. So that's another steal that we got, which is cornerback. He can play slot. I know Gilchrist is there, so he might start at slot, but he'll be a really good backup to Rashawn Melvin and Garyon Conley. So I'm really happy about that. I think, and I looked at, I created a chart and I put all the players that we drafted in. The only big hole I see in offense and defense is coverage linebacker, man.
Yeah, that's the only place that we haven't really addressed yet. But, it's still early doors, so I'm pretty sure they'll address that pretty soon. But also another player we haven't spoke about is the fact that we've actually got a punter now in Johnny Townsend from Florida. That was a good get in my opinion. It was obvious that we were going to draft one, but obviously, Michael Dixon went off the board, J.K. Scott.
Did you see when J.K. Scott went off the board, just the pick right before us, Green Bay took him?
Yeah. So, but hey, I mean, we've got Townsend in. We've brought in Eddie Pinheiro, who was the kicker in the same school. So hopefully they can form a good relationship because that's what we really need, to be honest with you, is two guys who are on the same level.
Are you talking about the field goal kicker?
Yeah.
That kid's got a leg. There's a film on YouTube. I think I retweeted on my or the Raider Launch timeline. He kicked the 80-yard field goal with pads on.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
he's
nuts.
He's got a strong leg.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, Giorgio Tavecchio is going to have his work cut out in.
Let's see. It should be good.
I mean, the good thing about the guy that we've just got as an undrafted free agent is he's got a big leg. When I looked at Tavecchio, I didn't really see that he's got that sort of power. His accuracy is not too bad, but that raw power, like Sebastian Janikowski had, when you look at Pinheiro, you're just like, wow, like that is some power.
Yeah, Janet. Now there's some interesting camp battles going to be going on. Obviously, so let's look at our entire roster right now. After QB, obviously we have Derek Carr, Marshawn Lynch, the running back. Fullback, there's going to be some competition. Keith Smith and Nick Sharga. Nick Sharga is a guy we got undrafted free agent. Who knows if he makes it out of the rookie minicamp, but we'll see. Wide receiver, we added Martavius. We didn't talk about. We got Martavius Bryant after trading back in the first round. We took a third-round pick. We used that third-round pick on Martavius Bryant. We got Marcel Aitman in the sixth round or fifth round.
Seventh.
Seventh. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan Switzer on a trade. It was a highway robbery. I don't know how we got Ryan Switzer.
He was one of my favorites last year.
Did you see the kick? He did a punt return for a touchdown. We haven't had a punt return for a touchdown in ages. He had one last year. He's a good slot guy. I think he replaces Seth Roberts. I think it's going to be Cooper, Nelson, Bryant, Marcel Aitman, and Ryan Switzer and Seth Roberts and Johnny Helton might have to. I don't know if we're going to keep any of them, but Seth Roberts and Johnny Helton might not be here anymore.
No, I would definitely look to trade Seth Roberts.
Yeah, I think they tried. They couldn't move him.
Well, if they can't move him, then sometimes you have to take the loss with some players. I mean, I know you get a bit of a hit, but at the same token, if it's pointless having these guys sitting around,
I,
because if you move them on, then obviously you can maneuver and try and obviously get that linebacker issue sorted as well.
I wonder whose idea was it to give Seth Roberts the extension. Was it Reggie's or Jack Del Rio's? That'll be
definitely Del Rio. He made a complete cock up.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was doing, but OT is going to be some real competition at right side, man. We got obviously Donald Penn and Colton Miller starting, but for backup, we got David Sharp, Vidal Alexander, Jalen Ware, Bruno Giacomoni, whatever how you pronounce it, and Brandon Parker. So we'll see what happens there. Defense. See, we got Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin starting right off the bat. Arden Key, really good. He'll come in as a third pass rusher. A battle between Tank Carradine, Shalik Calhoun, and James Cowser for the last spot should be interesting.
Yeah, I like Cowser, to be fair. I do like Cowser.
Yeah, I like him. Let's see we finally got a good D-line coach. See what happens. What should be really interesting is a defensive tackle position. Who do you put in there? Like for running downs, right? First down, obvious running downs a lot of the times. You have Justin Ellis, and I would put, who do you put in there? Mario Edwards and Maurice Hurts is going to be a good camp battle. Eddie Vanderdoes and PJ Hall is going to be a good camp battle, and Trayvon Hester. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. In terms of run stuffing, you're not looking at PJ Hall and Maurice Hurst as run stuffers. Realistically, you're looking at them as proper free technique. So you're looking to play them when it matters the most, getting into the quarterback.
Well, Maurice Hurts, per PFF, he was their best run and pass rusher. You know what I mean? Because he can slice through the field. Let's see how he develops, but definitely when it comes to passing downs, which will probably be the sub packages, which will probably be there 60% of the time anyway. So obviously Justin Ellis wasn't brought in for that. Maurice Hurst obviously going to be one of the D tackles, right? And the other D tackle, it's going to be between Mario, PJ Hall, and Eddie. So that's going to be really good competition and see where they end up.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie's going to have his work cut out from this year. These guys are good. He's going to have to work his tail off to try and keep a place in this team. And that's good. To be honest with you, that's good competition.
Yeah.
But it would not surprise me if Eddie's one of those that kind of falls through falls out of favour just because of his production, really. It's a production game, isn't it? If you're producing, then it's all good. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. It was only his first year, so
I think we keep 5 defensive tackles. Maurice Hurst, Justin Ellis, PJ Hall. Obviously, they're gonna stay because Justin Ellis just got a extension. Maurice and PJ, they're both rookies and taken high. So I think we got between Mario, Eddie, and Trayvon Hester, there's 2 spots open. Yeah,
well, Mario's a given for me.
Run stuffing, he's really... So Mario's going to make it. I think it's between Eddie Vanderdoes and Trayvon Hester, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
And Eddie probably has the bigger upside. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think obviously it's going to be difficult to say now, but maybe Trayvon Hester is the one who doesn't make it, but you just don't know. He might come in and look refreshed with new coaching staff and stuff. So
also the injury history with Eddie and Mario might give you pause.
Yeah, that's the only problem with Mario. I love Mario Edwards. I think he's a brilliant player, but his injuries really do just hamper him.
You know what would be nice if Trayvon Hester got cut and they put him on the practice squad and brought him back up next year. That'd be nice, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's a real possibility. I mean, you don't bring in these 2 free technique guys if you're going to leave one of them on the practice squad. It wouldn't make sense at all because the idea was to bring in a couple of guys who can actually rush the quarterback. So, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, have we touched on Azim Victor? Because that's another pick we made in the draft.
No, middle linebacker from Washington. You know, he got kicked out of the team for